It's January the 30th, 2022, and it is This Week in Mountain Biking. I only bring this up because it's pretty close to mountain biking, but it is gravel related. So, recently a study was done on what gravel tire is aerodynamically the fastest. That's the question asked. But I have to ask, why? Who really cares? I mean, you know what? Wait till you hear the results and I'll give a little rant, possibly. Bike Rumor picked up on this story. I'm happy that they were thinking on the same line as I was. For some reason, manufacturers are still pushing the idea that the more aero it is, the more better it is. And maybe it is for, 1% of the riders who actually earn a living being the fastest, but in reality, your legs, your lungs, and your fitness will do more for your speed than saving 10 watts in aerodynamics. The results are not surprising here, though. The slicker the tire, the more aerodynamic it was. We all could have guessed that one. And the less deep the knobs, the less drag it produced in the wind tunnel. Okay? But you know what else those slick tires do? They brake poorly on dirt and on gravel. They lose traction on climbs. And they cannot corner with speed or any confidence. All of which, from my experience as a mountain bike trail rider, are bigger factors in your ability to ride fast. And who the hell selects a slick tire over a knobby tire for gravel riding? Well, I guess if you're only riding on the road then. Now, I think Bike Rumor was on the same page as me, but I don't think, or at least I don't feel, that the gravel scene of riders are truly overly tuned into watt saving and aerodynamics as much as the road and triathlon community is. But more on that later. Techno has developed a 9-speed specific drivetrain for e-bikes. Their claim? Entry-level e-bike riders and new riders tend to leave the chain in the lower 11 to 16 tooth range of gears, and in turn wears them out faster. So their system will have the ability to replace just those gears as they wear out, obviously as an aftermarket purchase. But man, I wish they had done this back in the day, or still do it for a lot of other current drivetrains, because many cassettes are being replaced in the shop solely because the 11 tooth is wearing out so fast. So kudos on Techno to recognize this and do this. Now, I already covered this one, but I'm just going to throw up some more pictures of, the Dodge driving lady pissed off at gravel riders trying to spray them with gravel, flipping into the ditch. So enjoy the pictures. Now, Loam Lab, a Canadian company, has some unique grips available, or add-ons to grips available. Seems like they were actually designed specifically for some of our old school Southern Ontario trails, riding on now wider bars on these tight trails. These grips have small deflectors on the end to protect your little digits from the trees and from breaking your fingers as you strike them. You can buy the whole package with their own grip, but the deflector also conveniently integrates into the dual clamp ODI grips. So I like the idea of this, the deflector, but I'm of the riders that prefer to not have an outer clamp ring on the grips, because I ride my hands out really far, hanging my pinkies over the edge actually, which is probably why I hit them so often. But having those rings or that deflector would make me feel like I'm a little closed into the grips. So maybe not for me, but I might give them a try at some point, see what they're like. Marzocchi 2022 has Freeride additions to their roster. I love seeing Marzocchi and its parent company Fox continue to put effort into the Marzocchi Freeride heritage. So they have some new riders announced onto the roster. And to be clear, that Z1, old one and the new one right now, is one of my favorite forks. And if I had a bike that justified their DH58 fork, I would be riding that too. Carrying on with the shock news, Intend has just announced and is about to release their Hero RD fork. It's upside down. I have a real soft place in my mountain bike heart for upside down forks. I had one of those White Brothers inverted DH forks back in the day on my Stab Deluxe. And my buddy was riding a Shiver single crown upside down, which I was always super jealous of. Luckily, it's in the shop now hanging on my wall. So this fork is aimed squarely at the downcountry and cross-country crowd. And it actually is designed to use the RockShox SID dampener. So you order in a dampener, send it to them, they install it. I would anticipate that someone could do the installation on their own as well if they're savvy enough. This was done because as Inten was developing this fork, they found they could not produce a light enough dampener for the fork to compete with the SID one. So it's upside down, all the benefits of that. 35 millimeter sanctions, uses the SID damper. It's a little heavier than the SID, but the bonus is the constant lubrication. So I anticipate this to be a pretty smooth fork. Another fork I'd love to get my hands on for sure. So this guy is going to tip the scales out at 120 millimeters of travel and weigh in at 1,671 grams and should be available February sometime. Okay, back to gravel. I probably should have called this the gravel weekend gravel news, but USA Triathlon, or Triathlon USA, wants a piece of the gravel pie action. They have just introduced an 8-stop gravel tri-series across the USA, citing the popularity of gravel riding and deciding they wanted to get into the mix. How I see this is just another slow pull away from riding on tarmac as a result of what seems to be an ever increasingly dangerous place for us cyclists to spend our riding time on. So check out USA Triathlon if you're interested in that. Maybe something a little bit different if you weren't in the triathlon crowd because of the road riding. There you go. Another week, a little more Specialized news. So Specialized has just announced that their entire line is going to be available for direct-to-consumer sale. Specialized has previously done this with some of their gear, kids bikes, and frames, but now the entire catalog is going to be available. Personally, I don't think this will affect sales to dealers all that much. Specialized bikes are already one of the highest priced bikes in the market. So clients purchasing these bikes are, at the higher end at least, looking for more of that higher end and personalized sales experience that's offered by walking into a shop and talking with someone. Perhaps there will be more direct-to-consumer sales in that lower end bracket, especially when models are not instantly available on the floor at local dealers. They'll go online to just have it shipped to them or to their dealer. So I have seen a little bit of Specialized pushback amongst dealers on groups with this issue. And I think it is more just an extra item fueling some of the shops, resulting in their outbursts on this issue. Specialized for years has been pushing dealers to carry more models that don't always make sense in their market, put more Specialized P&A on the walls to squeeze out other brands. So dealers are kind of stuck in a hard place because Specialized is a draw-in brand. So I think most dealers will just muscle up, find ways to continue to work with and benefit from the brand's name recognition. Until Specialized buy out or open their own dealers in strategic cities and push current dealers out of the brand. Last bit of news, spotted. Pirelli is going to be providing some DH tires soon because Pirelli has just signed on with the Canyon Collective, mentored by Fabian Barrow, and signed on 4 riders that will be riding on Pirelli DH tires. This I am stoked for. I love the Pirelli Scorpion S tires. They excel at a lot of things, but I would like to see something with a little bit taller shoulder knobs for butting down into loose dirt and sand in poor conditions. And if they're developing a DH tire, that's probably what's coming our way. Let's hope they offer the same tread setup in the lighter enduro or trail casing as well. Again, thanks for tuning in, and make sure you head over to ridermtb.ca to check out current jerseys and all the latest goodness is coming. Or if you want to do your own personalized custom MTB jerseys? Hit it up.